The woman sat in the rain with her hand extended, ignored by every person who passed. Her skin held a faint violet tint that most assumed was a trick of the streetlights. The strange geometric patterns along her arms looked like elaborate tattoos. No one stopped. No one asked questions. She was just another forgotten soul on the corner of 5th and Market, invisible in plain sight. Zara pulled her torn jacket tighter and stared at the metal shard hidden in her palm. It was all that remained of her ship, of her identity, of the life she'd lost 3 years ago. The crash had taken everything. Her crew, her vessel, her ability to prove she was anything more than what she appeared to be now. A beggar, an outcast, nothing. She remembered fire and screaming metal. She remembered the enemy fighters tearing through her escort ships. She remembered the impossible choice to jump to the nearest habitable world rather than die in the void. Earth had seemed like mercy then. Now it felt like a tomb. Her people thought her dead. The alliance she'd worked years to build had likely crumbled without her. And here she sat, slowly starving on a planet that didn't even know other worlds existed. Marcus noticed her on a Tuesday. He ran a food cart 2 blocks down and had seen hundreds of homeless people over the years, but something about her was different. The way she moved, the way her eyes tracked the sky instead of the ground, the way she whispered in a language that sounded like music and mathematics combined. He brought her a sandwich that first day. She stared at it like she'd forgotten food existed, then ate with a desperate efficiency that broke his heart. He came back the next day. On the 4th day, she finally spoke to him in English. "You should not waste your kindness on me," she said, her accent strange and lilting. "I am no one now. Everyone's someone," Marcus replied, sitting down beside her. "What's your name, Zara?" She hesitated, then added, "I was a princess once, before the fall." Marcus didn't laugh. Something in her eyes told him she believed it, and that was enough for him. Over the following weeks, she told him fragments of an impossible story. A galaxy at war. Political marriages meant to forge peace. Assassins who preferred conflict to compromise. A crash landing that should have killed her. "If you're really a princess," Marcus asked one evening, "why haven't your people come looking for you?" Zara touched the metal shard she always carried. "Because they think I'm dead. And without proof of who I am, without my ship's transponder, I'm just another alien creature on a planet that doesn't believe in aliens." She looked at him with ancient exhaustion. "My disappearance has probably already started the war I tried to prevent. Every day I remain lost, more people die." Marcus made a decision that night. "Then let's find a way to call them." They spent 2 months gathering salvaged electronics from dumps and surplus stores. Zara's knowledge of technology far exceeded Earth's understanding, but she had to work with primitive components. Marcus watched in amazement as she transformed garbage into something that hummed with purpose. "This will send a signal my fleet can detect," she explained, her hands steady for the first time since he'd known her. "But others will detect it too, the ones who shot me down. Whoever reaches Earth first will determine what happens next. And if the bad guys get here first?" Zara's expression darkened. "Then your world becomes a battlefield, and I will have brought destruction to the only place that showed me kindness." Marcus placed his hand over hers on the activation switch. "Do it anyway. You can't stay lost forever." The beacon screamed to life with a pulse of energy that made every device within 3 blocks flicker. Within hours, satellites detected the anomalous signal. Within a day, government agencies surrounded the abandoned warehouse where Zara and Marcus hid. Within 3 days, the sky split open. The ships arrived like falling stars, dark and angular, bristling with weapons that made Earth's militaries look like children with sticks. They positioned themselves in orbit, casting shadows across entire cities. Then the transmission came, broadcast on every frequency Earth possessed. "Surrender the Caliph Princess or your world burns." Panic erupted globally. Governments demanded answers. Militaries mobilized uselessly. And in the warehouse, Marcus turned to Zara with fear in his eyes. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I've doomed you all." But even as enemy ships descended toward the planet's surface, new signatures appeared on Earth's sensors. These vessels moved differently, with elegant precision instead of brutal force. They emerged from quantum folds in space, dozens of them surrounding the enemy fleet in a perfect tactical formation. Zara's breath caught. They came. They actually came. The space battle that followed painted the sky with fire and light. Energy weapons clashed against shields, creating auroras that danced across the atmosphere. Humanity watched in terror and wonder as their quiet universe revealed itself to be crowded with life and conflict. The enemy ships, outnumbered and outmaneuvered, began to retreat. One of Zara's vessels landed in the warehouse district, its ramp extending with a hiss of pressurized air. A tall figure in ceremonial armor emerged, flanked by guards. He saw Zara and dropped to one knee. "Your Highness," the captain said, his voice thick with emotion, "we never stopped searching. The Alliance nearly shattered without you. Your brother rules in your absence, but the treaty worlds grow restless. They need their architect. They need you." Zara stood slowly, the beggar's posture falling away to reveal something regal underneath. Marcus saw her transform before his eyes, saw the princess emerge from the broken woman he'd fed for months. But when she turned to him, her expression was conflicted. "I have to go," she said. "If I don't return, the war will consume 100 worlds. But Earth showed me something I'd forgotten existed. True kindness without politics or calculation. You gave me hope when I had none, Marcus. How do I leave that behind?" Marcus smiled, despite the tears in his eyes. "You go save your galaxy. That's what princesses do." Zara nodded, then turned to her captain. "Transmit my orders. Earth is now under the protection of the Caliph Empire. Any aggression against this world will be considered an act of war against the throne itself. These people will have our technology, our trade, our friendship. They earned it through compassion when I had nothing to offer in return." She touched Marcus's face gently with one violet-tinted hand. "Your world will never be alone again. I promise you that." As Zara ascended the ramp, her bearing changed completely. The homeless woman disappeared, replaced by a commander who'd negotiated peace treaties and led fleets into battle. She gave orders in her musical language, and her crew moved with perfect discipline. The ship lifted silently, joining the fleet in orbit. Within hours, the vessels departed, leaving only a single satellite in geosynchronous orbit. "A gift," the transmission explained, "that would allow Earth to communicate with the greater galactic community." Marcus stood in the warehouse alone, staring at the spot where Zara had spent so many nights cold and hungry. The world outside erupted in chaos as governments tried to process what had happened, as scientists scrambled to understand the new reality. But Marcus understood the only truth that mattered. Humanity had been elevated to the stars not through conquest or discovery, but because one man had offered a sandwich to a stranger in the rain. And that stranger had been a princess who remembered kindness when she had the power to change everything. The homeless woman everyone ignored had saved them all.